So let's start with the first module of this training workshop. In this module, we're gonna discuss about the relation between GIS and statistics. When I say statistics, data, I'm talking about either population, household, data collection, the stuff you do, the people from national statistics offices usually do, and I'm talking also about agricultural census. Okay, so when I talk about EDSTATS data, we all understand that it's agriculture and household and population. Okay, survey, census, and so on. Here, the GIS in the survey cycle. Okay. This is a quote from the Handbook on Geospatial Infrastructure in Support of Census Activities, UN, which is kind of a good reference when we discuss about GIS and EDSTATS data collection. So mapping has been an integral part of census taking for a long time. Traditionally, the role of maps has been to support the enumeration and to present aggregate census result in cartographic form. We use maps to help us during the data collection, to plan the data collection activities. We use maps to be sure that we are not missing any household, any agriculture plot, anyone. Okay, we use maps to plan the workload, to tell the enumerators where do they have to enumerate each dwelling, etc., etc. Okay, and once we have finished with this data collection, data processing, data analysis, we use maps, and this is something that we need to start thinking about. How can we improve our dissemination strategy? We can use maps to disseminate data, to tell the story behind the numbers. We usually use census reports. We usually use graphs, pie charts, tables, but we can add, we can enhance the way we disseminate data by using maps, because the geographical relationship between data and where the people is, where the copra farms are, this is important. We need to, and this is something that a report, a data without the map cannot tell us. Okay, in order to plan, in order to make based decision making. Okay, so I put here an example. This is from Vanuatu 2009 census. The indicator is percentage of population involved or working on agriculture, forestry, or fishing. This is okay. So I put there 3 administrative levels where we are displaying the data. Okay, so we can display the data, disaggregated data at enumeration area level. So we can see here in Santo Province in which enumeration area we have higher rates of people involved on forestry, agriculture, or fishing. So we can see here in Luganville, for example, we have low rates because it's urban areas, and the rest of the island it's more rural area. So logically we will have higher rates. The same by island, and the same indicator at province. Okay, so we can see the difference, no? We can see it's easier to display the data by province, but maybe we are missing something, okay? Or we are missing something, it's easy to see, it's nice to see, okay, in which province we have more people involved in agriculture or in fishing or in forestry, but it's important as well to have access or to take a look to the disaggregated data. Okay, so it's important, as I was saying, it's important for data collection and it's important for data dissemination. Okay, so here we have the survey cycle. Okay, we have design, build, collect, process, analyze, disseminate, and evaluate. So we're gonna, let's see in which of the phases GIS are gonna be relevant. Okay, in design, we need maps to establish, to design, to review our enumeration area framework, in order to see whether it's consistent, the codes are right, that we don't have wrong codes or two enumeration area with the same code, and as well when we need to assign the enumeration area to each of the enumerators. We need to tell them where those EAs are, and it's important to put that in a map because it will help us to plan the activity. Here we have an example of the planning maps that Vanuatu National Statistics Office is using to plan their HIAS. So we have teams, the orange team and the green team, okay? And we need to put all these selected EAs for the map, for the survey, in a map, to better understand the work field, okay? To better understand, to better plan the work field. And in order to say, okay, the orange team is gonna start here in the north and is going to move following this sequence, then maybe they're taking a flight or they're taking a boat. So which is the best way to allocate the enumerators? If we put that on a map and the finance people can have a map, they can better plan this. They can better preview, oversee what is going to be needed for the planning of the data collection activity. Okay? And in remote islands and cases in the Pacific region where transport it's very expensive and it takes a lot of money from the survey and census activities, the better we plan, the more cost effective we are. Okay? So for designing, then let's go to the next stage. During the data collection, we can use maps to monitor, and now with CAPI, this capability it's even more strong. Okay, it's even stronger because with CAPI we can monitor and correct if we have certain conditions of internet connectivity and others. We can monitor and correct data collection in real time. Okay, you can communicate with the enumerator and say, hey, this question cannot be possible. There's an error here. And indeed, we can now monitor the EA code assignment in real time. In CAPI applications, this is something that it's not ready yet. So we always gonna need some GIS guy next to us, downloading the data, plotting the household, the GPS points, the plots on a map, and checking that the enumeration area codes have been assigned correctly. And the only way for the moment of checking that in survey solution, as far as I know, is to have someone specifically working on that. Every day downloading the points, plotting and checking that all the EA codes are right. Checking if we have an enumerator completely lost. Okay, you have an enumerator that it's not even in the EA where he was assigned, or an enumerator constantly repeating the same error. So we have one EA, the EA1, and the enumerator is assigning the code 3. So this is something that we can correct right now in real time, okay? And in case, for example, this is an example of South Tarawa, you have your GIS guy next to you, and he can tell you, okay, apparently this EA has been fully covered, but I have a gap here. So we can ask the enumerator to pass by again and enumerate those missing households. Okay? So our data quality gets, well, it's dramatically increased. Okay? Because we can correct on real time. We don't need to pass by 2 weeks later. No, it's just give a call to the enumerator and send him a, well, or just let him know, or talk with the supervisor and ask him to pass by to this building here. And maybe the enumerator can answer and say, no, these houses were demolished. So there's no any dwelling there. Okay, we good. But we can check, communicate, and be sure that we are collecting data properly. Okay. So and then we talk about, we always in stats, we are always very focused on data collection, data quality. We have to collect as much as data we can, but we always miss, no, but maybe we are too busy with the data collection component that data dissemination sometimes gets forgotten, okay? Not forgotten, but maybe we are not allocating enough resources, or well. But this is important, to put maps, to put data over a map can help us to better disseminate data, okay? And at the same time, when we put the data on map, sometimes help us to assess whether our data makes sense or not. Sometimes when we don't have the spatial side on this data, sometimes we're missing something, and when you put it on a map, these discrepancies they just simply show up, okay? Because maybe we have a problem with the Enumeration Area code that was urban and we put it as rural. Maybe we have don't know. So it's good to put data on a map. It helps us to find errors, to find discrepancies, to find something that is not working well. Okay. And we make our data better, more interesting. Okay. This is an example of the potential impact population by the cyclone Winston, and it was as easy as put the cyclone track, the buffers around the cyclone track, and cross and overlap population at enumeration area to assess how many which is the population that is going to be impacted by the cyclone. Now with CAPI, okay, that we are collecting, we have all the information from sensors attached to a point collection. We can increase that, we can enhance that data. So we can, instead of using just population, we can use households, and we can use, okay, how many households built with traditional materials are going to be impacted by the cyclone? How many households with kids and people with more than 65 or 60 years old are going to be impacted? So we can prepare better, okay, the disaster management system in order to allocate resources in different regions, in different parts of the country, depending on this assessment, okay? And then, when we, now there's more and more demand on disaggregated data. Here in the Pacific, for the most relevant, let's say, it's for emergency planning and humanitarian response. For agriculture planning, for example, for irrigation investment, access to markets, okay, where do I have the copra production, or where do I have my aquaculture farms? Where do I'm gonna build a hatchery? The only way to plan this in a proper way is to put as much as data we have on a map and assess and analyze and get a conclusion, okay? And the better way to show the decision makers where do we have to invest, it's not a table, it's a map, okay? So we can use it for planning modeling, planning social for education. Where do we have certain amount of money to build 10 primary schools? If we cross that with census data and we check on 5 to 12, for example, years old, we can easily find the right place to build new education facilities, okay? And well, many. So and this is very important, because we always complain, like in national statistics offices, we are the forgotten people, no? Even the stats people in the agriculture, in the Ministry of Agriculture, we are the geeks of the numbers there, with our, with our Excel tables and, but this is the way we can be more relevant, and this is the way that we can, in brackets, we can sell better our data, because it's important, and this is the way we can get more investment on what we do, okay? Saying, okay, we have the data, and a part of having good quality data, we need to find a way to the people understand better the data, okay? And maps are a very nice way to do that, okay? And make our data interesting, and say to the people of disaster management, or say to the people that they are developing rural development projects. Hey, okay, you are thinking on installing, I don't know, irrigation project, or in that island. Why? Why are you choosing that location? Sometimes it's because they have heard, they know someone who told them, there the situation is very bad, but it's not a proper way to plan. But if we have proper data and we have the right way to help the decision makers to choose in which region we have to work, we have to invest, this is our objective, and this is what we have to this is our goal, okay? So this is an introduction. Let's talk about the software we're gonna use. I have already talked about this, okay? Why have we chosen QGIS? Because it's user-friendly. Well, the people who's used to work with MapInfo or GIS, for them it's super user-friendly. So it depends on What do you usually do as a GIS program? But it doesn't change that much from ArcGIS, for example, or from MapInfo. It's not something very different, okay? Because, well, for me, one of the main important is because it's open software, so it's free, okay? Because it's portable and easy to install, we have already seen how easy it is to install. Because it's getting improved regularly, because we have many free extensions available. We don't have to pay for a advanced geospatial analysis package, because all these extra tools are available for free. Okay, so you can customize your own software. If you are a specialist on raster or in land use or remote sensing, you have many packages and many plugins that you can download, install in your QGIS program and make use of them. If you are more stats, if you work with R, you have plugins that make compatible those softwares. So there's plenty of possibilities to work with, okay? And another one, we have package. We have we have software that has been developed, that they have roughly they have developed bridges, okay? They have developed passerelles to work from QGIS to work with grass. That it's if you have been working on GIS since a while, there was grass before was like a MapInfo, but it was specific for raster analysis. So now all this grass, Orfeo, which is software to work with LiDAR, Saiga, GDAL, or GR, they have been all integrated in QGIS, like a free open source software, all integrated in one software, okay? Okay, we're going to work in the 2.18. This is something that I was explaining before. It's the last long-term release for QGIS version 2. As I was telling you, in February 2019, QGIS 2 will be replaced by QGIS 3. It's a pity that we didn't notice that a couple of weeks or 3 before, because I would have time to prepare this training in QGIS 3 version, but I wasn't very sure about the stability of some of the features we're gonna see through, okay? Because it's still in development, and okay, so let's keep on 2.18. What's new in QGIS 3? 3D modeling. So we have more 3D modeling capabilities. We have background processing, which means that we can start a process and keep it working on the background and keep working in other stuff we're doing. This is something that for the moment in QGIS is not possible. In ArcGIS, it's something that it's been classically possible, and now we can do it in both platforms. And they're gonna change from shapefile to a standard file format, to GeoPackage, okay? We used to work in GIS, the classic format is for vector, it's a shapefile. ArcGIS, they use their own geospatial, actually by default, everything you do, it gets stored in a geodatabase in ArcGIS, and then if you want to share with other software, you have to export into shapefile. So these guys, they have followed a little bit the same approach. Like by default, you're going to work in a geospatial database, but this platform, this geospatial database, is open source. It's Spatialite, and everyone can access to that. Okay? If you work in ArcGIS, once you store your stuff in your geodatabase, you only can open it using ArcGIS. We can export it. There's other programs that can open this kind of geodatabase, but we are always missing something, okay? Because they want you to pay for the software, of course. So now we have a strong geodatabase capability, but it's free. And it's fast. This, if you have tried QuantumGIS 3, and if you are used to work with ArcGIS or QuantumGIS 2, QuantumGIS 2 is already fast, but this one is, it's awesome. Okay, when you notice the difference, it's like, whoa, everything loads super fast. When you drag, when you zoom, when you drag, when you open a tool, it's quite reactive, so it's quite nice to work with. Okay, so documentation about QGIS, it's free, so and sometimes we can think, okay, but the documentation in ArcGIS was very good. It is indeed, okay. It's probably ArcGIS is one of the best documented programs ever. Okay, they put a lot of resources, every tool, every process. It's explained in detail, so you know exactly what are you doing. Okay, in QGIS there's a users and developers community. It's not as good as ArcGIS, but it's still enough. Okay, so if you Google, you can find plenty of things. Okay, in Google you will find everything you need to know about QGIS. So I put some sites. These presentations are in the USB key, okay? So you will able to click on those links and go straight forward, okay? So we have documentation, the QGIS user guide, training manuals, training tutorials. I have put external blogs where you can have access to people who's just writing a blog with new tricks, with new features, with new releases, okay? So there's a lot of documentation, there's a lot of resources in regards to QGIS in the web, okay? So let's talk about the software installation. I have provided you a USB key with the software, both versions, QGIS 2, QGIS 3. The presentations, you will see that probably the presentations are going to change because we will be modifying the presentations depending on how fast do we progress. Maybe we need to repeat another exercise. Maybe you have interest on learning something and we prepare something. But at the end of the training, all those last version presentations will be available in the workshop website. The link we have provided on in the email list. Anyway, at the end of the workshop, we will send an email with all this information, all the new links, etc., etc. Okay, so it will be, if there's any changes on the presentations, we will provide the updated presentations. Okay, so you have the software and you have the data. Okay, for the people that are not very used to work with GIS, well, recommendation. Okay, what I would do with this with the data we're gonna use for during the training is that I'm not gonna work from the USB key. Okay, this will make things slower. Okay, so I recommend you to store the data. Let's go to the USB key. So we have you have training material, you have the different modules. So what I would do is this training material folder, I will put it on my GIS folder. Okay, how I used to work is like with all the GIS data, the shortest is the path, the better. Because when you work with GIS, you're always like loading a file, generating a new file. Oh, this didn't work, so let's do another file. So, okay, so the shortest is the path, the easiest for us, because actually neither QGIS or GIS are very good browsing. Okay, they always send you to. So to get the desktop from ArcGIS or from QGIS, there's a lot of clicks in there. So if we have in our C drive GIS and then you put this training material, would be easier. Okay, to get that to get access to this data. Then once we have finished with the workshop, if you want to clean up, you just delete it, okay? But for the moment, I think it's gonna be easier, okay? Because all the exercise I'm gonna show you, when we are asked for loading a certain layer, I will show you that it's module 5, okay? Layers. Vanuatu enumeration areas. Okay, so I will just provide you the address or the path from the folder module. Okay, so it's gonna be easier for everyone. Okay, so everything is well structured. Okay, module 1 you have the presentations and the data. Module 2 the same. Okay, so it's gonna be easy to navigate. And there you will have anything you need to work with the exercise, tables, code, expressions. Okay, so I hope everything is well structured and it's gonna make your life easier. Okay, so for the installation, we have all installed the software. I will give you a hand right now. So we have already went through this. So just click on the executable file, say yes to everything, and that's all. No internet connection, just a USB key. So well done for this. So we are gonna need, I was talking about plugins, these extensions, these additional tools, okay? So I'm gonna need you to follow me with this, okay? Let's install the plugins. We need internet connection to install the plugins, okay? So, well, we're gonna have you manage to open the QGIS, no? Yep, okay. So now, to fetch plugins, we go to plugins on the top menu bar, manage and install plugins, and go to install upgrade plugin, and well, you will see this. You see this this menu here. So we can go here, install, uninstall plugin, and once they are installed, downloaded in our machine, we can select to enable or disable them. Sometimes we don't want to have too many menus in our bar, and it takes a little bit longer to load the program when we have too many plugins. So we just can uncheck here the options, and we just leave the plugins disabled. Okay, but we can activate them whenever we want. Okay, so which plugins we are going to use during this training? Okay, I have put many of them here. I think the most important is well, if you can autosave. QGIS doesn't automatically save our projects. So as Excel, for example, or PowerPoint does. This is a common reflex that we have to have every 2 minutes. click on the save button, because if not, but with this plugin, when we activate this plugin, and we can configure well, to save our project every 2 minutes, every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes. So it is not something very relevant for the training, but it will make your life easier. Database manager, we will see whether we use it or not, but well, it's good to have it. Easy custom labeling and memory saver layer. These two plugins, they go together. Easy custom labeling, it allows us to improve our labels. We can manually drag them. Well, it's very, for me, it's the best in terms of labeling layers. I think that these guys, they have found the way to go. Okay, in ArcGIS, it's a pain to set labels, and with this, it's the concept is super simple, and it really works. Okay, but what's the problem with easy custom labeling? That we need an additional plugin, which is called memory saver layer, because you create a temporary layer, and the only way to save your edits in this temporary label layer is by having this plugin installed. So we need both, and we need both of them enabled. Okay. Then we have quick map services. This plugin allows us to load satellite image backdrops. So we're gonna use it. Zonal statistics. Well, I don't know whether we're gonna have time or not, but if we can install it from now, it's okay. This is very important. Topology checker. Okay. And but I think the topology checker is already built in. Okay, it comes installed by default, and I would say that easy custom labeling as well, but I'm not 100% sure of that. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that list here. You can check that list in the presentation. During the exercises, well, this is to be prepared for the following exercises. If you don't manage to install them, no worries, we are gonna be able to work and to follow the exercise even without these plugins for today and for tomorrow. But if you cannot manage, please, can you try once you go back to the hotel that maybe you have better internet connection and there's no restrictions, or because sometimes it's a bit weird. So we can be sure, like this, we can be sure that we're gonna have those plugins ready for the following trainings. Okay, so this is more or less the setting up. Okay, we have installed the software, everything is working. We have mouses, we have plug adapters, so we are ready to start working with the software. So we're gonna make a very easy exercise, just an introduction to the software. Okay? So we're gonna open a blank project. Okay, you will see in those presentations everything is explained step by step. So when you back home, or when you go to the hotel, and if you want to review some of the exercises or some of the activities we have explained during the modules, during the sessions, I have tried to design these presentations to help you to repeat step by step the exercises. Okay, so I hope they are useful. Okay, so step by step. So I will leave the PowerPoint, then you will work on the on the software. I have here the software as well, so I can, if there's any question, I can load the shapefile, and like this you can follow me as well. Okay, so we open a blank project. We already know which is the button to open a blank project. This, okay? Or we go to the menu, project, new, okay? So we're gonna load our first layer, okay? So we have, well, you will see in the left menu panel, you will see this icon here. Okay, you can open a new layer by clicking on that button, okay? And we will have this panel open, well, display here, okay? And just by clicking in Browse, okay, we select first File, click Browse, and then we're gonna load Module 1 layers. Well, in Module 1 layers folder, we're gonna open South Tarawa EA's 2015, okay, shapefile. This is one of the ways we can load a layer, or we can simply go to the Windows Explorer, select the shapefile, and we see here in the video, just drag the shapefile file into the interface, and it will load automatically. So it depends on how do we prefer to load. Sometimes it's better to browse. Sometimes we have our project folder open in another window, and we go there and we drag it into the interface. Okay. So, do we have already? Everyone has its South Tarawa Enumeration Area framework on your screens. So I'm gonna do the same. I'm going to go Browse, Windows, GIS. I think it's in Training, Module 1, so it's somehow the same structure you have. Layers, and I'm gonna open shapefile. Click Open, and I have my EA framework. So don't be shy. If you get stuck, you stop me. We stop, we solve your problem, and we continue, okay? We are here for that. We are not, if you get lost, feel free to stop us. You have Anthony and Phil that will help you if, well, you get a bit lost or you have any problem, okay? So everybody has the EA framework on your screen. So now, what we're gonna do is to set the style. So change the color, change the border, okay? So we right-click over the, we right-click over the layer panel, okay? We select the layer that we want to, not to modify, to change the style. And then we go to Properties. Okay? And then you have here different options in the left column. So we choose Style. So let's follow the, okay? So we are here. We're gonna get that on the screen. So we just need to select in the, here in the menu in the simple field, and we will have, and then select on the color, and we can change the color, the outline, change the outline style, whether we want to get a line pattern or dot pattern, increase the outline width. There's a wide range of possibilities on when we want to format these polygon layers, okay, in Quantum GIS. And then we click here in OK. Okay, so what I'm trying to do with these presentations is that you have step by step the process, okay? And then we have changed the color of our polygon layer, okay? Okay, labels, the same. We go again to properties. We select the labels menu. We click on the top menu, and we switch to show labels for this layer. And then we have to select which of the attributes, which of the fields in our attribute tables we want to use to generate those labels, okay? So, well, this is a basic, okay? We will go through more complicated stuff, but just to make a first contact with the program, okay? And, well, if you play enough within the label menu, well, you can get this blue color with white buffer behind to improve the visibility, okay? So this is up to you guys, okay? You know where the label menu is, so let's play, okay? Let's spend time testing, trying. What if I put the labels in pink? Well, your map will look too bad, okay? But let's try, okay? So let's, which is the best color when I put a satellite image backdrop? Which is the best option to make my labels more visible and easier to read, okay? This is well, we need to play to learn, okay? So now we're gonna discuss about projection. Ooh. I see some faces like, oh, projections, no. Yeah, the Pacific region, it's well known by projection problems, okay? And we have all suffered a lot with this, okay? Just a brief review about how Quantum GIS deals with projections, okay? So let's use an example. So I want you to go to, well, you can. Okay, so what I want you, it's just an example. I hope your Fiji layer looks like this, okay, when you open it. I have tested several times, and I hope it's not gonna work, okay, because this is the way and then we're gonna learn to fix that, okay, this mess. So you go to module 1, you first open a new project, a blank project, and then open module Fiji Promises, 4326, okay? So I'm gonna do it. So I open a blank project, I want to discard this. So the same, I go to Vector, Browse, and Fiji Provinces. Open. Yes, I'm happy. It doesn't look good. Okay? Does it look good in yours? Okay. It's the same, no? We have Fiji split in two parts. And we have a polygon extending all across the wall, going from one side of the dateline to the other side of the dateline. So, well, this is quite easy, very common problem with Fiji, Tuvalu, Kiribati, okay? Countries that are crossed by the dateline. Most of the global coordinate reference systems are based on Greenwich, so they decide when they split the cylinder on the sphere, and they extend the Earth and try to put it on a table to allow us to see the world in a square, in a rectangle, okay, in a two-dimension support. They always cut by the Pacific. Sorry. And so we need to find a way to to avoid this. But we can find. Sometimes we load a layer. We don't know in which coordinate system has been stored, and we have discrepancies. The road or the country limits, they don't match with the satellite image. So this is the typical problems that we're gonna find with. So how do we deal with this? We change the projection, as we do in ArcMap. But I'm gonna show you how to do it in QGIS, okay? So we need to reproject the layer to display correctly, okay? So we right-click over the layer on Layers panel, as we have done, okay, to open the properties, okay? And there's no reproject or set projection in QGIS. We change the projection by saving, like by making a copy of the shapefile, but when we go through the copying process, we just change the reference system. We change the coordinate reference system, okay, to another that is gonna be more suitable for us, okay? So we right-click on the layer panel and we click on Save As, okay? Step by step. Save As, and we have this, okay? So we're gonna click on this button, and we're gonna choose a more suitable reference system. For example, the UTM, okay? The code for the UTM grid for Fiji is 32760. So this filter bar help us to find the reference system that we want to use, okay? So we click on 3267, or we type 32760, okay? And we will find WGS 84 GTM Zone 60 South, okay? And then we select and we click OK. And then we browse it, and we're gonna save it as Fiji provinces. A good practice when we don't know which, the reference system where the layer is stored, there's a .png file that goes with your shapefile, and there's the information about your reference system. But it's a good practice if you are working with reprojections and changing projections. Well, something that I used to do is like at the end of the name of my file, I write the EPSG code, the code of the reference system, because I don't have to go through the projection. So from the browser, I know exactly which projection I am using, okay? But well, it's up to you, it's just an advice. But let's save this as 32760. Don't forget to change the reference system. Then we click OK. And then what happens here, so I'm gonna follow the save as. Well, actually, I think I have it. No, Fiji provinces. 32760. I click save, and then I'm gonna select it. Here, this one. Okay. So I'm in the right CRS. I put the right name, so I click. And then it's still looking bad. Why? I follow my own instructions. Why this is not working? Because our project if you see here on the bottom right corner, our project is still, our frame, okay, is still in 4326. So what the project is doing is like, okay, I'm using this projection, and whatever I get from outside, I'm going to try to project it into the project projection. Okay, that's why it's a split. So what I'm going to do is to first remove the old shapefile. Okay, so I right click over and I say remove. I'm not erasing anything, okay? I'm just removing it from the project. It's still in my folder. This is important, okay? And then I go to my bottom right corner, I double click here, or I just go to project properties, okay? Then I set the projection 32760. Okay, if you see that the different projection systems are not activated, you cannot select them. It's because you have to check on enable on the fly series transformation. Okay, what this on the fly series transformation means? This means that if we have this checked, activated, if my project is in 4326 or my project is in a local reference system, if I get another shapefile in a different projection system, the program is going to try to adjust all the layers in order to make them match, even if they have different projection systems. Okay? They read that the one shapefile has the reference system A and the other has the reference system B, but even though it helps you to display the shapefiles all together. Okay? So enable, select 32760, and then everything it's looking well. Does it look well on your screens? No. So that's the moment where we. So can you? I'm gonna make it again on the screen. Okay. So I have already saved my Fiji provinces 32760. Okay. So I go here to the bottom right corner. I click, and I have this menu. Okay. You see, my project now is working in 4326. That's why my shapefile is completely split. So I have to find I have to set the project on the same projection as my shapefile. So I select here, and I click on apply, and now yeah, it looks good. Okay, and you see on the bottom right corner that now our project is working on the 32760. This is the way we deal with projections. Okay, how this on-the-fly projection works? If now I load the layer we put on the project before, okay, that the one that was looking very bad because it was split, okay, if now I put it here on my project, now it's not split anymore. Why? Because my project is drawing everything on UTM projection, and whatever I put on the project, it's gonna make it best to match all the shapefiles in the same place. Okay? Even if we have this on-the-fly projection, the best what we can do, the best option always is once we start with a project and we have different shapefiles from different sources, before we start processing, before we start creating a layout, before we start doing anything, the first thing that we should do is to put all our shapefiles in the same projection. And that's the way we will avoid this type of problems. For the moment, we have loaded a layer, we have played a little bit with styles and labels. We have faced one of our first problems, classic one, projections. Now we know how to deal with projection, how QGIS deal. We don't reproject, we don't have a tool apart. Okay, it just it goes within the saving process. Okay. So now, how can we load? How can we display either satellite images, base maps, backdrops in our maps? Okay. In ArcGIS, you have an option at the layer background maps, it's called. Here in QGIS we have 3 different options. Okay. Well, the first one, Open Layers plugin, which is a plugin. This external or these additional tools or package that we can install in our software, but it was the easiest to configure. Well, let's say, but it's been deprecated. Okay, it's not available anymore. I think that you can load it in the software and sometimes works, but well, you know, I think it's not worthy to show you how to use it. Then we have Quick Map Services, that it works the same way as Open Layers plugin, but it's not gonna be available in Quantum GIS, in QGIS 3, okay? Because it's the way to load satellite images or backdrops into QGIS now is the tile server tool, which is already built in, which is already integrated into the software. But well, I'm gonna show you how to install and configure Quick Map Services, because well, sometimes it's how to say, it's easier to configure. Yeah, well, don't know. To learn both systems, I think it's the right way to go. Okay, so let's. I want you to check, okay, if you have that plugin available. Okay, so you're going to go to the top menu, and there's one of the menus. It's named Web. You know, in the presentations where you see this blue uppercase font, it means that it's a process, it's a sequence within menus in QGIS. Okay, so we go to Web, and do you have Quick Map Services available there? Does it appear? No. Okay, so let's go to Plugins. So we go to Plugins, Manage and Install Plugins. Well, I have here a problem with and then in the search bar, we just by typing Quick Map, Quick Map, Quick M, it will appear. We almost all managed to install the Quick Map Services. Okay, So now if you go to web, you have this option which is called Quick Map Services, okay? But you won't see these many background images providers, okay? We need to configure that. We go to Quick Map Services. On the bottom of the menu, we have Quick Map Services settings, okay? And you will find this panel. Then we click on Get Contributed Pack, and it will download the additional providers. And then we go back to visibility, and then we check all those providers to make them visible, okay? More important and the more relevant are Bing and Google, this one and this one. So if I go to web, Quick Map Services, on the bottom I have the settings menu, and then more services, attention, get a contributed pack. I go back to visibility, and then here I can check and uncheck the services that I will have available, okay? Then if I go to web and I click on Quick Map Services, I select, for example, Bing, and then select Bing Satellite. And if I go a little bit, I zoom in a little bit, you will find those this satellite image backdrop. You will find that the way it works, we need a quite good internet connection. Since we having problems with these Quick Map Services, let's go to the plan B, okay? That's the beauty of QGIS, that you always have, on GIS in general, you always have different ways to solve problems, okay? So we give up, okay? Let's close the Quick Map Services, okay? And we're going to use the other option I was mentioning in the slide before. So, well, it should, if in case it was working, this is, so we use tile server XYZ, okay? So you will see on your right, if I make this bigger, you have to see the browse panel. Can you, if this panel is not displayed, you can go to the menu bar, right click, and here you have the different options, the different panels that you can check for them to be displayed or not. Okay, so in panels, you have to look for the browse panel. So, but we have this tile server option, but nothing, you have nothing in your menu because we haven't configured anything yet. So let's go back to the slide to show you how to configure it. So you right click in tile server, you right click on above tile server, okay? And you will see only one option, new connection. That's easy. So we have to click on a new connection, and you will find this window asking you to enter the layer URL, okay? So if you go to the folder module 1, okay, and you will have a txt file which is called path tile server, okay? So you have here different URL paths to be put on those new connections. Okay. For the moment, we're gonna put, for example, Google Satellite. So what I'm gonna do is like to copy this URL address, and here new connection, and paste it. Okay. Then because this is the address where the tile server is gathering all the satellite image styles. Okay. I click OK, and then I put a name. This was Google Satellite. Okay. We enter the URL address. In this case was Bing Aerial, and in your tile server options you will have these new options that we are setting up. So what I recommend you to put is, for example, put Bing Aerial, Google Satellite, and Humanitarian. That they are all available and detailed here. You have OpenStreetMap, Google Hybrid, Satellite, Google Road, and Bing Aerial. Okay? Recommend you to do is like we are going to remove from our project Fiji. Sorry for the okay. If you want, in order to avoid problems with the projection that we have already set up, we're going to open a new project. So I discard, okay, and we are going to open, we go to Module 1, Layers, and we open South Tarawa, okay, which is called South Tarawa EAs 2015. It's going to be a smaller surface, and it's going to load faster. Okay, if internet connection allows it. Okay, so in order to remove a layer from our project, what I propose you is just to click a new project, new blank project here on the top left corner, and just load the Kiribati EA framework and try again with this tile server. Okay, so everyone has EA framework for South Tarawa, Google Satellite image on the on your background. Tile server works better than Quick Map services. Okay, it's more reliable. So now, if you want to make some. Because now we are going to make the first hands-on, we'll say, okay? So now we have South Tarawa, that it's something that we have already done, and we're going to prepare I want you to prepare a basic layout in the Map Composer, okay? I will show you step by step. We have now South Tarawa, we have the satellite image background, and I want you to set the style for the South Tarawa layer, okay? A couple of recommendations. If we want to show the satellite image on the background, we will need to have a transparent fill for the EA framework. We just need the borders, okay? And we are going to add as well the labels showing the EA code. This is something that you have to do right now by your own. Well, I will help you, of course, okay? So let's set that first, okay? And then we can go through the Map Composer. So we click on right button or double click, and we open Properties. Then we click here of a simple fill, and then we wanted a transparent fill to show what is behind the EA framework layer. So to take a look, instead of clicking OK, we can click Apply. That this leaves our menu open, and at the same time we can check whether it works or not in the map. Okay. Apparently, the black borders with the satellite image backdrop is not a very good idea. We don't see the boundaries, the EA boundaries very well. So we can choose another color, like something that make a nice contrast, for example, orange. And then instead of going to OK, I click on Apply and I take a look. Okay? Do you like this? Or do you think you can do it better? Try it. Okay, so now we go to a transparent field, and then we said, okay, I want to show EA boundaries plus the labels. Okay? So we already explained how to do that. We go to the labels menu, we open no labels. We deploy this drop-down menu, show labels for this feature, and then we select one of the fields available in the attribute table, which is EA 2015. And then just I click Apply. Okay. I zoom in a little bit. But again, a black font for labels with a satellite image background is not a good idea. We don't see that much. So you can hear like playing. Okay, that's what I was mentioning before, play. So why don't we use, for example, white? It looks better. For example, don't know. Why don't I use? So here you have sub-menus. Okay, here is the menu that controls the font. Okay, you can here for the formatting if you want to add multiple lines. There's another one which is buffer. This is someone that this one I like it quite much. That adds a halo behind the label. So just increase that, but with white font it doesn't work very well. So this is the way we can use black font, and if we put an halo behind on white, we have enough contrast to be able to read to improve the visibility. This is the kind of stuff that's why that we learn if we experiment, if we try, okay? Then you can, well, for the moment, let's keep it simple. We said that it was going to be a basic layout, so for the moment, it is a basic layout, okay? So let's continue. So now we are all on at this stage, okay? We have, but this is not a proper layout, okay? This is within our interface, okay? You can print, you can make a screenshot, but this is not the proper way to generate a map. If you want to share with a colleague, hey, we are missing this EA during the census, you make a screenshot, you put it on your email, and then you send it, okay? But if you want to set a proper map, we need any other elements, okay? Good, so let's continue with the presentation. So what we are going to do is to use the layout interface in QGIS, okay? So what we're gonna do is to go to Project, and we select New Print Composer. And then or you can use Composer Manager, but the easiest way is to create a new composer, and they will ask you to add a name for that composer. So you can call it South Tarawa Basic Layout, okay, or My First Map. So in the composer, so I'm gonna generate my composer. So print composer first map. Okay. Now you will see that the interface is different. Okay. There's a relationship between what's happening in my mapping interface and my layout. Here we have just a blank. To add a new map, which is the main objective of a mapping layout, to have a map on our page, of course. We're gonna look for this button, okay? So, which is located here. It's a bit small, but you know, it's like a page with a green cross, okay? So when we click, nothing happens, okay? There's no map, because we need to delineate the extent of our item, okay? Then I release the left click, okay? Do it again. I click on here, add new map, and then I left click, release, and I have, okay? And this is the same thing I'm seeing in the mapping interface, okay? It works it's quite different from the way ArcGIS does. And this is the map composer is one of for people who's coming from ArcGIS. For me, it's one of the things that I struggle the most. Okay, so then we have here the selection tool. This tool will allow us to select the different elements. Once we have loaded a legend, a title, images, we can select and we can drag them, move them, increase the size, decrease the size, okay? Which is something I'm gonna show you. So we click here, that it's actually is activated by default, so I can move it, make it bigger, or smaller, bigger, etc. Okay? So we just put roughly something like this, okay? And then there's another control which is quite useful. It's the actually it's move item content. I forgot how to. So this allows us to drag the image or drag the map, okay, and zoom in, zoom out, okay. It's a bit coarse if we want to put exactly the extent that we want, okay? But it helps us to roughly locate the map and see how it looks like, okay? So imagine that we're gonna add, don't know what it, like this, okay? And then, you know, I click in, out, and nothing happens because I still have this drag item activated. So I have to go back to the selection tool, okay? As well, if I'm using this drag item, I can zoom in and zoom out using the mouse wheel. We go into the item properties panel, okay? If I go to this selection tool and I click here, you will see on my right, on the right side of the map composer, that I have three menus, okay? Composition, that we will go through this in the next sessions, and the item properties. Here I can control the scale of the map, so instead of using 1/7000 I can increase or decrease the zoom level just by typing the type of scale I want to use. Okay? Here in update preview by default is cache, but we should use render if we want to update what's happening or any modification we do in the mapping interface. But we will go through this later on. We just making a basic layout. Okay? So, but just one tip. Okay? If we want to show exactly in the what are we seeing in the mapping interface, so imagine I go to my mapping interface, okay, and actually I want to show video. I like video, it looks awesome. Okay, and okay, so I have here video a little bit less, okay, like this. Then I go to my map composer and I want to see exactly what I zoom in my mapping interface. Okay, so what I have to do is to say, okay, I make my selection and then I click on set to map canvas extent. Okay, so you choose a nice location from South Tarawa and then you go to your map composer, item properties, and click on that button. So if I do this and I click here, then it will show what I was, the stand I was setting in my map interface. Okay? And last one, once we have done something good, or once we're happy with the map canvas, don't forget to save. Okay, don't forget to click on the blue disk and save your project in your in a module, in the respective module folder. Okay, if we are working now in module 1, we will save our project in module 1 folder. So I call it my first layout. Okay, if we don't save changes, we close the project, we switch off the computer. Tomorrow morning, tonight, we want to check out, we want to review what we have learned during the training. All lost. Okay, this is the most complex. The next elements are a bit more simple. Okay, and this is, you know, the way the map composer works, it's a bit tricky. Okay, it takes time to get used to. Okay, the ArcGIS approach, for example, it's much straightforward. Okay, so we have this. You have selected. Did it work to use the set to map canvas extent? Okay, so let's add a couple of elements and we go for the tea break. Okay, so we want to, this is, I just list 5 elements that we can add just for you to make a trial. Okay, if you want to add a scale bar, let's add a scale bar. If you want to add an image or a north arrow, the typical elements we put on a map, we do that. If we want to add a title, same. Want to add a shape like a square to put on the background of our title to improve to make the maps a bit more sexier. Okay, and add a legend. Okay, the basic elements. Okay, so you will find these controls, these buttons, on the left side of the map composer. And it works the same as the map. For example, if I want to add a text, I will go to the bottom with the small T there. When you put your cursor on top of the button, you will have this help panel telling you which tool are you choosing. Okay, I have this small cross. Okay, and I open the panel, and then to control everything, I cannot double click here and write. Okay, it's the same as the map. Everything is in the item properties. Okay, this interface just for drag items, increase, decrease, size, adjust. Okay, we zoom in, we zoom out. Okay, but just for that, for the composition, whatever we want to modify in each of the items, we do it in the left side menu. So here, QGIS, I say South Tarawa EA map. Then I want to increase the size, so I go to font and I make like 22, bold, and I use Calibri font, for example. Okay, South Tarawa EA map. Horizontal alignment, center, middle. Background, put something gray, don't know. Okay, everything is there. So let's play with the font, let's play with the colors. Okay, but just to have just an overview, okay, but it's loaded. So for example, while you are working on the map composer, there's another menu, another window that you will see on top of the item properties, which is the item menu. Okay, here we can select, instead of what you can select from the map composer for the composition interface, or from the item, because sometimes we have like 20 different elements and it's hard to find, or it's hard to distinguish which map am I using. So, and then here you can lock it to avoid, like if I'm clicking here, I don't want to drag it or to move it. And you can as well control whether they are visible or not. Okay? And then when you select them, it gets highlighted with bold font, and then you can, and you will see that the item properties menu, it's different because we are configuring different type of items. Okay, the scale bar item properties menu is different from the map item properties menu. Okay, so for example, if I want to add scale legend, sorry, I have my legend here, and I have a different scale properties. So I don't want to add Google Satellite, so I just auto date, remove it, and I want to change, for example, the title because it's too long and it's the title I'm using for my layer, but I just want a simple one. So Enumeration Area, for example, which is easy to understand, rather than EA South Tarawa 2015 4326. Nobody, what's 4326? Okay, so it's something more easier to read, easier to understand. Okay, legend. Then we can add a scale bar like this. Simple one, don't, okay? I can add, I put an image on the module 1 folder because the image is the same. You have to draw the frame, okay? And then you have to look for where you have stored your image, okay? You can browse here in module 1. I put this Quantum GIS image, and then you can add. So this is the typical item we put on enumeration maps with the flag or the coat of arms of the country, or the a logo of the National Statistics Office or the Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry. Okay, so this is a basic map layout. At the end of this first module, we all have one map like this. Do we? Okay. So, end of the first module. What have we done? We made an introduction to GIS and the survey cycle. We know more about the QGIS software. We have installed the software, and we have started to work with the QGIS with a basic exercise.